Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Kenya Revolutionary for another session. Today being Thursday. Hey, we are approaching weekend. But anyway, karibuni, karibuni, karibuni. Please, 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 I'll start with the formalities before we get to the Mada Leo, the matter, the topic. Okay? If this is your first time in this channel, we'll talk about Kenyan politics and world politics as it relates to Kenya. So if you like that kind of content, this is a place for you. Subscribe to your political dietitian who will give you the nutrients you need to navigate through this Kenyan politics, okay? So go ahead and subscribe if this is your first time here. And if you've already subscribed, you know the first order of business is to do what? Hit that like button. And everyone who's going to watch this and is interested in this kind of content, please go ahead and make sure that your notification bell is on. So every time I come in, you will always find me here. Omuganda Katende, I see you. Rita Zamit, I see you. Karibu Sana. Just a heads up, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, as I usually tell you, this channel is under heavy attack. So for those of you who you've been wondering why you're not getting any notification, why you don't get any kind of, you don't see me anymore while you try to search for me, just know that there are people who actually hacked into my channel. I'm working I'm behind the scenes, to rectify all these things that's happening. That's why I've not been, out there in all these places. When I come to YouTube, you can see that it's a sabotage, but we are working behind the scenes to get that sorted out. So bear with me. Just be patient. We'll get the culprits. We know who they are. We just need some good evidence so that if we have to take matters into the court of law, we have evidence. Anyway, but anyway, let's get back to it, okay? We are not going to stop from what we believe in and what we are going to discuss. So we shall soldier on. Rita Zamit, as I said, thank you so much for being part of this. Weka like Apo, Omuganda also, karibuni, and everyone else who's going to watch this on repeat. Let's get to it. What Kenyans should expect upon regarding Gachagua's arrival from the US? Okay, I know you might be asking yourself, what are you talking about? Well, Gachagua today through his social media space handles or handlers, whatever the case is, he announced that he's wrapping up his US tour. He had to actually cut it short because he wants to come back and campaign for the upcoming November 27th by-elections that are going to happen. But IBC threw some spanner on the works. So I don't know if he'll extend his Ninio, and if these two news are related. I'm coming to that. Okay. And actually, I would like to start talking about this IBC, which is, I'm telling you guys, if by now you still have any doubts whatsoever that this IBC is remotely being controlled by the State House, by Ruto and Raila Odinga, I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you. There's no help for you. There's no hope for you if you still don't believe that this IBC is just there to work for the political class. So anyway, let's get to it. I will mention the Gachagua thing, then I will tell you how this kind of is related, okay? Like I mentioned, Gachagua, through his social media handle, announced that he will be wrapping up his US tour abruptly because he wants to come back and support and campaign for the DCP candidates in the upcoming by-elections, which are scheduled to happen on the 27th of November this year. Okay? Let's park that bus right there and leave that. We shall come back to it. Now, speaking of which, okay, Pretty Kaur, I see you. Speaking of which, we are going to talk about this IBC because IBC is making more headlines than anything else. Everything is drama. Everything is drama, my friend. It's drama in Kenya, political drama. Anyway, so IBC came out today and gave a press statement, okay? Through their social media space. I think they also discussed, they're in Mombasa somewhere, whatever the case is. And these people are actually doing exactly what I told you guys they will be doing once they are reconstituted. Now, what am I talking about? In not so many words, I'm not using my other gadget, so I can't really read you the statements and put it on the screen for you to see. because I was going to read the whole statement so we can break it down and see what it means. But essentially, just to give you an overview, a brief, what they were saying in that statement. Okay, basically that's what I want to tell you. IBC gave a statement saying that the by-election in November 27th, 2025, this year, November 27th, this year, cannot be undertaken. Why? Because number one, they say, you know, these by-elections, when they are supposed to be okay. Listen to me careful. Let me be very clear. I want you to get the point. These by-election, according to IBC, they say that by-election should be conducted within 90 days. Okay? Let's say, for example, if an MP dies, okay, there should be 90-day period, which within it, there should be a re-election happening. There should be an election happening for a new MP to be voted in. Same thing with MCAs and wards and MCAs and all that stuff, okay? So what I'm saying is this: the law is, if an MP loses his seat, loses his seat through, whether they are incapacitated, they're incapable of continuing with their job due to death or whatever the case is, the by-election should take place within 90 days, okay? But IBC is arguing that the 90 days have lapsed. That's number one. They're arguing that the 90 days have lapsed. Listen, of course it has lapsed. It's been years now, a year or two, whatever, since majority of these areas like Baringo and Ugenya and whatever the case, because we didn't have that IBC in place, right? So that's their number one reasoning. And I'll tackle them one by one. They say the 90-day period has lapsed, so they'll just have to wait till the until August 2027, okay? Number two, the IBC also makes, actually, I'm laughing, but it's not funny because this is total nonsense, I'm telling you. Anyway, their second reason was the IBC cannot conduct these by-elections because majority of the polling stations always happen in schools, primary schools or secondary schools, whatever the case is, but schools in general, okay? And the argument is schools are still in session right now. So there's no way they can carry out these elections in schools while the schools are in session. I mean, these guys are coming up with the lamest excuse imaginable, okay? Now, let's deal with reason number one. The 90-day period in which the by-election should be carried out, okay? Because that's their first argument, that they can't carry out this. There's no need of carrying out these by-elections because the 90 period, okay, in the 90-day period has lapsed. Now, we should ask ourselves, why did this 90-day period lapse? Why do we have it? Why did it happen? Why? Remember, let's go back. Can we go back? Can we go back so we can be there? Let's go back. When the IEBC commissioners were finishing their term, it was up to the president, according to the law, it was up to the president to immediately, okay, reconstitute or select a panel, a selection panel, which in turn would go ahead and select the next commissioners to be constituted, to be confirmed to take office by the National Assembly, okay? And credit to Ruto, he was ready to reconstitute the IBC. He was ready to pick a selection panel in order to, to pick the next commissioners for confirmation by the National Assembly so that we can have a new constitution. 90 days. But, 90 days. 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 90 days It was the Azimio folks at the time. They were led by Opio and I, Raila Odinga, John Mbadi, Hassan Joho, and the rest of them. If we remember, who came out and said, no, 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 no. The president is not going to pick or constitute the IBC without consulting us. And they went for Mandamano. You remember that? Okay? And they went to Mandamano and there was chaos. They brought in Mainanjenga, and Mainanjenga with Kevin, is it Kevin, what's his name? Gaucho, and all these goons who are running around Nairobi, destroying things, destabilizing the economy, disturbing the peace, which forced the president, just like his predecessor, to come sit down and negotiate with the Azimio folks, Raila Odinga and his buddies and his goons. Okay? So the president was basically forced to stall the process of reconstituting the IBC. Okay? Because he had to, he had to acquiesce to the demands of the ODM, the Azimio at the time, which included Martha Karua and all these useless people. Okay, because at that time Martha Karua had not resigned yet, so we are not going to pretend that she wasn't part of it. But anyway, like I say, to the credit of the president at the time, he was willing, because lawfully he was supposed to reconstitute a new IBC, and he was in the process of doing that. But it was the Azimio guys who came up with this NADCO and started saying that the president cannot and will not reconstitute the IBC without consulting them, that they have to have a say in the process. And I remember Opio and I, to be particular, who was very vocal. This guy was violently expressing himself in the parliament, okay, the National Assembly, okay? And the ODM folks got their way after causing a lot of chaos, damage, carnage in Nairobi. They got their way. And that's when they brought in Kalonzo Musyoka, who sat down with Chungwa somewhere at Bomas with Aaron Cheriot and the rest of these idiots to sit down and come up with this NADCO 10-point nonsense. They always have some 10-point, 3-point, 13-point, 14-point, whatever points they always have. Agenda. Okay? And part of it was for the IBC Amendment Bill, which is now IBC Amendment Act, which is in place, which includes the members of opposition, includes Azimio in the reconstituting process of the IBC. And that's how we got to where we are now. So it is actually Azimio, Raila Odinga ODM, who actually stalled the process that caused that 90-day period to lapse. That's why we couldn't have the IBC reconstituted within 90 days, so that we can have those constituencies that do not have representation to have representation. So this blame can be squarely attributed to the Azimio, Raila Odinga and his goons, who came up with this NADCO, who stopped the president from picking the IBC. You understand? But regardless, they're in a marriage now. They are in MOU, and they've already chosen the commissioners. Okay, so we are where we are. Let's face it. Okay, we are where we were. We are where we are. Okay. So the second reason, it's a rather silly one, that we are in very difficult circumstances. Most of these polling stations happen in primary schools or whatever the case is, and school is still in session, so we cannot have this by-election. So let's wait till 2027. That's basically what they're saying in their press conference, okay? In their press statement, rather, okay? And again, if you're going to be having this if you're going to have this by-election, they do not have to be on the weekdays when the schools are still in session. You can have the by-election on a weekend. Make it on a Saturday when people are not going to school, or Sunday, okay? Because election always is a one-day ordeal. It doesn't take 5 days to elect a representative, or whatever the case is. So on both accounts, the points that this IBC was making was simply telling the people that, oh, no. Let's wait till 2027. Like I said, the political oligarchy of Kenya, oligarchs in Kenya, are scared shitless of the wananchi because they know they are not popular. Any elections that happen now will not favor any candidate who's perceived to be aligned with the political class. That is why they do not want these by-elections. So we'll see what happens, okay? We'll see if this matter will go to court. Now, could it be that this IBC pronouncement, statement, press statements is related to Gachagua's decision of coming back to Kenya, cutting his tour short? Okay? He made a statement somewhere in Massachusetts. I told you guys in Boston. I told you guys, for those of you who don't know much about US and how Kenyans are, places where they stay, by tribe. I hate to break it down like that, like I usually tell you. New Jersey, New York area is known for Luos. Boston area, California, Washington, Seattle, Washington. Those are areas known to be heavily populated by the Kikuyus, okay? Minnesota is known for Kisis, and so forth, and Somalis, Kisis and Somalis in Minnesota, okay? And so forth, okay? But anyway, that's here. That's not important for now. What I'm trying to say is this. Well, the question I'm trying to raise is this. Could it be that the IEBC's pronouncements are related to the fact that Gachagua announced that he's coming back to campaign for his candidates that they are going to floor, the DCP candidates that they're going to floor in these by-elections, whether it's in, I don't know if he has DCP as a candidate in Ugenya or Baringo, or whatever the case is. But could it be related? I don't know, but that's not important. Now, let's get to the meat of the matter, the main meal, okay? I was just giving you an appetizer to think about, IBC. But the main point I want you to extract from this IBC shenanigans is this. There is no doubt about it. There's no not shredder of evidence, but there's no doubt about it that this IEBC is definitely being remote controlled by Ruto and Raila. This, and not only Ruto and Raila, but is being controlled by the political class. They do not want any disruptions between now and 2027. They want to make sure that Ruto and his minions make it till 2027. Okay? And if there's anything to go by, please, for those of you who still are arguing ati tutalinda kura, sijui tutafanya nini, sijui ni, I've been telling you here, and I've been telling you, and I'll continue telling you, and I'll tell you one more time. Okay? Do not expect a free, fair, transparent, verifiable elections in 2027. Do not. Stop wasting your time. This is signed and sealed, done with. This is done. Mimi nawambianga hivi amsikii, mnaharibu tu wakati mnasema 2027, it's sealed, deal done. Osheni mkono mwende nyumbani. It's done. Ruto ameshachukua hii kitu. Not because he's popular, but he controls the IEBC. Listen to me very carefully. Let me just give you another one. Okay, and I told you this last time. If these IEBC are not willing to conduct a recall, to recall these MPs that we know are bribed, that we know are blatantly, overtly, publicly telling us that they will not advance our interests, they will not represent us. They're doing that blatantly, telling us that. And if you want to recall them, the IBC is coming up and telling us that there is no law in place, a law that these very MPs should come and create a law to explain the process of recall, while the Constitution is very clear under Article 104, 98 and 97, says that you have the right to recall. If they do not want, they're still dilly-dallying and they're playing and making excuses, telling us that they will not allow us, wananchi, to recall Esther Passaris and the others. What makes you think in 2027, an IBC that has been constituted, handpicked by Ruto and Raila, will announce that William Samoei Ruto has been defeated in the elections? Na nyinyi mnasema bado mnataka kwenda kulinda kura. We and Gen Z, we shall be standing on the sijui every electoral station tukilinda kura na tunahesabu. Mimi naangalianga hivi, naangalia mnasema nyinyi mko na akili kweli? It's a game of Ani anaambia it's a game of chance. Karibu where's the chance? That's my whole point. Hakuna game of chance. There's no chance at all. Hakuna. Referee ni Ruto. Uko na chance gani? Na unataka kumtoa. Ati unataka kwenda kufunga bao. You understand what I'm saying? It will be a game of chance if referee is somebody who we are saying referee is a fair one. Na tunaangalia hivi, tunaona propaganda ya Ruto, na tunaona propaganda ya Gachagua, na propaganda ya Matiang'i, and we can say it's a fair chance. Hii ni 50-50. Inaweza kwenda either way. Unacheki? That one we can argue. Boss, kama mnashindwa kutoa nani? Mnashindwa kutoa Esther Passaris saizi, women rep. Mnashindwa kumrecall. Nyinyi mnafikiri IBC ambayo inataka sasa inatuambia ati hata hii by election hatuwezi kufanya by election. Ati kwa sababu 90 days imepita, there's no law in place that addresses the unusual circumstances that we are in. Ati sasa tungoje mpaka 2027. Kama hii IBC haiwezi kufanya the basic, hii si chance. We have zero chance. Ndio mimi nawaambia tusiharibu wakati tufike 27. Msiharibu wakati wa ya bamba ya wui. Nitapiga nduru hapa. Chance gani mko nayo? By the way, Constitution inasema kama hizi mbinu zote za kutoa rais na hawa ma representative imekataa, tunaweza kutumia hiyo katiba. Hiyo katiba inasema hivyo, hiyo katiba tujiunge kama wananchi na tumuondoe Ruto na hawa wanasiasa wote, hawa wanabunge, MCA, magavana, maseneta, wote tunaweza kuwaondoa tukijiunga pamoja kama wananchi, maana sisi ndio tuko na mamlaka. We are the sovereigns. What is happening with Moses Kuria? Hebu niambie yani. Unajua syllabus inakimbia sana. What's going on with Moses Kuria? Hebu niambie hapo kwa chat. Nini namfanya? Ako hai? Karibu sana Ani. So that's what I'm saying. If removing a simple women rep kama Esther Passaris ambaye anaongea hapa, Esther Passaris anatutukana, anatuninio, inaitwaje? Anatutroll kila siku. Sisi wananchi hatuwezi kumtoa. Sembuse Ruto, rais wa Kenya, ambao ameconstitute hiyo IBC. Mkae mstari wa mbele. Ani, hebu niambie Moses Kuria, what is going on with Moses Kuria? I saw the name there. What is happening with Moses Kuria? But anyway, while we are waiting for Ani to tell us about Moses Kuria, apparently he has done something. I don't know. Nini mbaya na Moses Kuria? Maliza train of thought kama Moses. Maliza train of thought kama Moses. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right. Okay, I got you. Sorry, Ani. Nakuelewa sasa, nakuelewa. Anyway. Aya, turudi. What should we expect when Gachagua arrives from Amerikani? Haya. What was I saying? What should Kenyans expect upon Gachagua's arrival from his US tour? Now, the question is, number one, will you get it? Okay, I get it. Anyway, so acha niendelee. Hadi unajua unanichekesha hapa. Sasa, what should we expect? The number one thing I want to raise is, will Gachagua still cut his tour short since IBC nasema kwamba hii election ya November 27 haiwezi kuendelea, tungoje tu mpaka 2027? So does that mean Gachagua tena change his itinerary ama atarudi tu? Some people, some government bloggers, some pro Ruto bloggers were trying to lie ati Gachagua anarudishwa nyumbani kwa sababu ati ananinio inaitwaje? I even forgot the word. Unajua hata akili imeruka sasa. Whatever. Anyway, that's not important. What Kenyans should expect upon Gachagua's arrival from USA? Aya, wacha niwaambie kitu moja. Gachagua akirudi Kenya, Wakenya nataka mjitayarishe. Kwa sababu siasa inataka kupelekwa kwa gia nyingine. Propaganda, siasa ya propaganda inataka kupelekwa kwa gia nyingine by this political class. Number one, of course Gachagua, they are going to pull the same thing Raila was doing. Niliwaambia jana ati they'll do the same thing. Raila in 2017, when he was running for president, leading up to the elections, in his campaign, Raila kikosa any issue to discuss kwa sababu he had no point. Raila alikuwa bure kabisa. So what he used to do, alikuwa anaenda hata Madagascar hapa, ama anaenda Nigeria, ama anaenda US, ama anaenda England. In fact, anajificha. Unajua vile alikuwa anaenda 2017, he wasn't meeting people. Anaenda siku 3 huko hata Madagascar. Alafu akirudi analand JKIA, wafuasi wake wanaenda kumlaki. They're going to welcome him. Unaona watu wanaenda hapo ni kama amini maandamano. Baba merudi. Kwa shangwe na vigelegele. Watu wanapiga firimbi. Watu wanasijui fanya nini. Alafu polisi wanakuja na tear gas. Pa. Inakuwa news ati baba merudi. The opposition mwenye ile choreography inaendelea hapa Kenya. Kenya ni Hollywood nawaambia. Kenya ni Hollywood. Hata Hollywood haiwezi kutengeneza script nzuri kushinda hii ya Kenya. Kenya kuna script imeshinda ya Hollywood. Tunaweza kushinda Emmys Award, sijui Oscar Awards na hizo awards zote. So it's the same script. Gachagua anakuja. Sasa hivi wanaipanga. Ndio maana unaona ameandika hapo kwa mtandao anasema munipatie hizi siku kidogo nipange vile narudi. Well, he didn't say that in those exact words, but that's basically what he was saying. Sasa Gachagua will pull a Raila Odinga. Niliwaambia, these people are not Ninio. The same thing Kibaki was doing. Unajua Kibaki ndiye alianza hii kitu. Unakumbuka vile Kibaki alirudi from his accident? Na wakamlaki. Na nani? Raila hapo akasema Kibaki tosha. It's the same thing. So Raila saw that and also he copycatted that Ninio. Pia Raila 2017 alikuwa naona kama siasa imekuwa moto hivi, hana point nyingine ya maana. Anaenda Madagascar siku 2, ama anaenda US siku 3, anarudi. Akirudi anataka watu wamlaki hapo kwa JKIA. So Gachagua will be the same. Since Murkomen has amped the ante, Raila has set it up by mentioning Gachagua sijui nini Sudi wanamwambia ati sijui akuja aweke statement. So there will be high expectations of a confrontation. Chaba saba bomba saya. Mnanielewa? Kutakuwa na high expectation for a confrontation. Can you say it one more time for the people at the back? There will be high expectation for a confrontation. Confrontation between who? Confrontation between Gachagua and the supporters versus Ruto's administration. Hiyo ndio the playbook. One more time, there'll be high expectation for Ang'oa for a confrontation. Mnanisikia? Haya, weka like hapo, naona kama mnaingia box sasa. There'll be high expectation for a confrontation between Gachagua supporters and Ruto's regime police force, or whatever the case is. So Gachagua atafika JKIA, watu watamlaki. Wale yule senator anakuanga na mandevu ndevu na wale marafiki zake wataenda kumngoja Gachagua hapo JFK na mashabiki wake ambao ametoka Mount Kenya. Unajua Mount Kenya sio mbali hapo na JFK na Nairobi ninio. Wataenda ninio, ataingia kwa gari and he will be on the rooftop na watamsindikiza. Na on his way atakuwa anaenda ninio, inaitwa aje? Sino walisema aende kwa DCI. Gachagua will take them on that promise. Kwa sababu Gachagua to him hii ni free points. Hii ni free points ya hii ni popularity contest. Na he'll be grabbing the headlines, okay? Headlines itakuwa ni yeye. Okay? So ataingia kwa hiyo gari yake. Haya. Na wafuasi wake wanamfuata. Pa. Na atasema wanaenda kwa ofisi ya DCI kuripota statement juu ya ile kitu alisema, ile mambo ya sijui whatever. Okay? Na by the way, on the way, saa zile anaenda na pale anasimama mahali hapo Thika Road, ata address wananchi, his supporters. Aseme mimi nilikuwa huko Amerika. Nilikuwa Amerika huko, Seattle. Nikakutana na Steve Jobs. Nikakutana na sijui nani. Wakaniambia Ruto ni one term. Atasema one term. Ruto ni one term. Sema ni one term. Wangapi wanasema Ruto akwae one term? One term. Na muziki zitachezwa kwa shangwe na vigelegele. Haya, atazidi kutembea tena. Anaenda DCI kutoa statement. Saa hiyo KTN, saa hiyo Citizen TV, saa hiyo sijui K24, sijui nini, VOK, hata sijui nini, watakuwa hapo. Hiyo ni live. Wakina Susan Okwara, sijui Okwara Gitao, sijui Zigachuku, wote. TV yote ni Gachagua. Anaenda live streaming from JKIA. Gachagua anaenda kutoa statement DCI juu ya matamshi yake juu ya hiyo mambo ya Shabab. Hiyo ni news. Siku hiyo Kenya, hiyo Gachagua ndio mtu sasa. Wanaenda huko ninio, anaenda DCI. Na wafuasi yake. Na by the way, on the way sasa anaenda DCI, atajaribu kusimama Thika Road tena. Tear gas. Kuonyesha kwamba serikali inajaribu the picture is to paint Gachagua now is the opposition. He's the new Raila Odinga. Yeye ndio Tiringinyi mwenyewe. Kenya nyinyi. Gachagua sasa ndio Raila, the new Raila. Utaona Herman Manyora hapo na kipindi yake na kale kadinio kale kakichwa kake. Gachagua is a very dangerous man. Gachagua is a very dangerous man. He's the new Raila. Gachagua can wake up and say, I'm taking the presidency. And I'm telling you, he'll be taking the presidency. Aya, ataenda DCI. KTN live inamonyesha, Citizen TV 9, Standard TV, sijui hiyo Radio Maisha, sijui nini Gachagua. Why? Because 2027 imeshaandikwa. Munaambiwa 2027 will be Gachagua versus William Samoei Ruto. 2 term versus 1 term. That is the dichotomy. That is the binary choice that you are presented with. And the useful idiots like the Matiangis, Karuas, Wamal, they'll fall in place on one way or the other. Okay? Utaona Kalonzo, unajua ni Kalonzo. Kalonzo atarudi huko hata kwa Raila na Ruto. Atasalimiana naye. Msione Kalonzo. Kalonzo tushamonea 18. Martha Karua will stick with the tribesmen ninio. Matiang'i will fall with Gachagua. Matiang'i atakuwa ninio, atakuwa deputy president wa Gachagua 2027. Gachagua aliambiwa he's running. Sina Gachagua aliambiwa he's running na hakuna kitu namstop. Hata alisema hata mkisema nini, hata mkijaribu kusimamisha, Gachagua is running. Amesema hakuna kitu. Aliwaambia Waluke aliwachiliwa. Waluke alikuwa jela, lakini Waluke alishinda. Ya. Mnanisikia? So na hii script itaenda karibu 1 month. 1 month, the rest of April. August. Haya, ataenda huko DCI, kutakuwa na vurugano, tear gas, sijui nini. Gachagua anatoa statement hapo dakika karibu 30 minutes, alafu atatoka. Then Gachagua ataenda the next day atakuja kutoa press conference, kueleza vile hiyo DCI walimuuliza maswali. Atasema, utamwona Gachagua hapo, I was there. They asked me if I have any evidence of Al-Shabaab, and I told them the way I told them. Sijui nini, the same nonsense, okay? But it will be, hiyo itakuwa prime time news. Alafu the next week, Gachagua exclusive sit down 2-hour interview with Sam Gatuku ama Okwara ama sijui Kaikai, yule sijui ndio nani, ama yule Mohamed, yule Msomali anaitwanga nani, Mohamed sijui ndio nani. Exclusive 2-hour prime time news where they shall ask Gachagua about matamshi yake ambayo aliyatoa huko US. Watamuuliza matamshi yake ambayo statement ambayo alitoa vile alienda kwa DCI, and ataambiwa react to what Murkomen is saying, because Murkomen unajua alishampatia ammunition pia. Na kukumbuka Murkomen alisema ati Gachagua anafaa angaliwe na daktari wa kichwa, psychiatrist, ati hakuna kichwa mbaya. So these are the things that Gachagua will be talking about in his interview. Then atatoka na his new outlandish nenio. Ataambiwa Ruto is doing business with the president of Iran. Ruto amenunua shamba in Iran, Tehran, eka 6,000. Anapanda mbegu za sijui nini. My friend, those will be making, hiyo itakuwa news. On the other hand, utaona nani, huyu anaitwa nani, Oscar Sudi, Kibet, Faruk, Raila Odinga, wakiongea huku chini unawasikia nao wanamka wanasema, Gachagua is being mistreated, even though if I disagree with Sifuna. Gachagua, even if he's a Kenyan, whatever he says, even if you don't like him politically, he should not be stopped from saying what he's saying. Hiyo ndio kitu watakuwa anasimama. Yani itakuwa the whole point is this: it will be a lot of empty political drama that is not based on the issues at hand that can actually bring any meaningful change in Kenya. It is political theater designed to lull you, entertain you, occupy your mind, distract you from the issues that needs to be addressed, from the issues that can actually revolutionize the corrupt system of these political oligarchs in Kenya. Because they don't want the conversation to be, let's go occupy State House. Let's remove all these politicians. Let's remove this whole system. Let's organize and agonize to change things so we can have a working Kenya. That is not a conversation that they want you to have. The conversation they want you to have is a people, personality-centered. The nonsensical, fake choreographed political rivalry between these members of the political corrupt elites of Kenya. 1 term, 2 term, Ruto, Raila, Gachagua, Wamalwa, Kalonzo, Karua. That is the kind of discussion that the media and all these political cartoons like Gachagua will be emphasizing, will be feeding you, programming your mind not to address what actually is affecting Kenya and how we can solve it. That's why they come up with this broad-based nonsense, intergenerational conclave, things that are meant to be wasting Kenyans' time, not solving the issues that we need to solve. The issue of unemployment, increased production, economic independence, law and order, constitutionalism, human rights issues. And we have to remove these individuals that the media have made to be demigods. Because this media is controlled by those very people. But we shall be overwhelmed, saturated. The airwaves will be saturated. The imagery will be saturated with political drama, tear gas, police, Gachagua's pronouncements, and this Ruto regime's pronouncements in return, and his affiliates on both sides. That is what is coming. And it will continue, and it will be ramped up in various ways up until 2027. Unaona, anything that dares interrupt this whole political order, political class rule that's leading to 2027, anything that threatens that, wanaipiga. Wananchi wakianza kuuliza, why can't we recall these MPs that are supporting this corrupt system who are not actually doing their jobs? What do they tell you? Oh, there's no law that actually describes how we should do this. Well, the Constitution says that we have the right to do it. Why? It is to stall the process, to give time for this political class to breathe up to 2027. 2027 ikifika, wafanya ile usarakasi, they get back to power, na wataendelea na usarakasi mpaka 2032, where they shall hand over power to Gachagua. That is what they are doing. Political circus. And there are people who are going to lose their lives in the middle of this. Because hao wanacheza huko juu, but the wananchi are taking it to heart. The die-hard Gachagua supporters, the die-hard goons who are going to be used by Ruto and Raila are going to take matters into their own hand, and if they clash, itakuwa ni kifo, and the police forces therein. Unasikia? So prepare yourselves for these psyops by these political elites. Everyone is on it. These political elites. Hao kina Matiang'i, Gachagua, Ruto, Raila, Uhuru, they are one. ni mchezo wamekarata wamepanga. I usually tell you, James Cowell, I think his name is Cowell, the former advisor to Bill Clinton, said one thing: Hollywood is for beautiful actors. Politics is for ugly actors. They're all acting. Enda kasikia the speech by Gachagua 2 years ago. Compare them to now. Enda kasikia the speech by Raila Odinga 2 years ago. Compare it to now. You would think Raila would be caught dead before he joined hands with Ruto. You would think Raila would be caught dead before he joined hands with Uhuru. You would think Gachagua would be caught dead before he joined hands with Matiang'i or Kalonzo. You would think Martha Karua would be caught dead before she shakes her hand with Matiang'i. Look at them now. Who is being played? Unafikiri Marco Mena anasema juu ya Gachagua ati nini? They really mean it? Do you think hata wakishika Gachagua it will be a choreographed thing designed to kasirisha wale vijana wa Mount Kenya ambao wanafuata Gachagua? It won't be meant as a real thing. It's a game. It's a game. Choreography ya watu kutupa and the media wanaiweka, they blow it out of proportion deliberately. Gachagua akisema kitu ndio hiyo ndio headlines ina viral. Murkomen akisema kitu ndio hiyo imeenda viral. Raila akisema kitu ndio hiyo imeenda viral. They don't say even anything important. This is what you have to identify. So we should make an issue. Listen to me, the youth and the people of Kenya. Munisikie vizuri. The only way you can counter these shenanigans is if you stand up, upright, with your head held high, and make the issue of total overhauling the system of the revolution the main issue. Make that the issue that goes viral. And you can only make that if all of you come together and make it an issue. Na revolution haisemangi ati tutangoja mpaka 2027. Revolution haisemangi ati tutangoja mpaka August 27 of this year tukua ina by-election. Revolution haisemangi tungoje mpaka Jumamosi ama Jumapili ndio to elect the new leaders. Revolution isemanga wakati ni sasa. Nyote mnaondoka. Mchezo wa cat and mouse between Gachagua and Ruto, Raila, Uhuru, Karua, Kalonzo, Matiang'i, Wamalwa imeisha leo. Make it an issue. The issue is the revolution. Anything else ni jokes. That is how it should be treated. Nitasema tena. Anybody who comes in, Maraga, Matiang'i, Babu Owino, Sifuna, Yupuzi, whatever they're saying, whether they're doing it ODM or UDA or DCP, BBC, DPP, PLP, CNN, NBC, BBC, whatever. Hiyo ni ufala. The number one thing revolution saizi. Revolution or nothing. Hakuna kitu wengine. Kwa sababu the IBC have proven that they are used by the political oligarchs. So the talk that you should make it viral by discussing that in your political spaces should be a revolution, nothing else. Hata hakuna mambo ya economic, tunazungumza mambo economy. Nani wewe huu nani anaitwa nani? Huu Busia senator anaitwa Okia Mtata. Please. Usitupigie makelele na mambo ati sijui we should sijui angalia ati tuko na we know that already. Jimmy Wanjigi usituambie mambo ati pesa ile imeibiwa. If you want to sound cute and have a wonderful debate in your debate, fine. Sign revolution. That is the only discussion, real way of actually taking care of the problem ambayo tuko nayo Kenya. Usituambie mambo ya sijui ati sijui awadete. Hiyo tutajali tukishatoa mang'aa ambao wako kwa nini kwa serikali na nini the political class. Easy political parties. That is the discussion. Revolution or nothing. Hakuna kitu wengine. Sifuna, enda kalia huko Bungoma ati sijui ODM hataki uzungumze. We don't care. Hiyo sio shida yetu. Wewe kutoka ODM ama ukae ODM it will not change anybody's lives. Unasikia? Okay? Whether Kalonzo leaves BCP, Wiper, Democratic sijui ndio nini, whatever, haitasaidia mtu. Whether Gachagua leaves US na afike Kenya leo na pigwe tear gas na hiyo mambo yake will not change anyone's lives. Whether Raila stands and tell us about intergenerational conclave ama sijui nini haitatusaidia. Whether Ruto aite vijana huko State House atenge na tupatie sijui masufuria na maninio pikipiki will not change anyone's lives. We know these are political chicanery. So the revolution or nothing. That's the bottom line. Hakuna mambo mengine. Sasa wakati wa kuongea imeshapita. Wakati wa kuzungumza ambao these characters ilipita. Imepita, ilishaisha. That's the past. Let them do that in their bedrooms with their wives na madem wao. Hiyo maneno imeshapita. Tushapita huko. We know what needs to be done. Now wamekataa kuifanya. Kwa sababu tumejaribu kuambia IBC watoe wakina Pasaris na ama wanasiasa wote through a legal means, wamekataa. Majaji wameununuliwa. Ruto wamekataa. Kila kitu wamekataa. Bado unaongea nini? Wacha kuambia watu ati political sijui I have a better political theory than sijui whatever, Makao Mutua or whoever it is. Hiyo wakati ilipita. Ilipita. The arguments have been made. The judgment has been made. Judgment ishameko. Nini? It's like standing before God. God amesha decide unaenda hell. Wewe bado unataka kumeka case ati Mungu unajua nilikuwa napatianga watoto sijui tam. When I was in Neo, I was a good person. Judgment imeshamekiwa, imeshaandikwa, umri umeshawekwa. Amri or whatever the case is. The judgment has been spelled out. It's either ombe msamaha or judgment. Is it King Hezekiah? Is it Hezekiah, the most wickedest king in Israel? Wale watu wamejua nini Biblia msimame hapa. God said, Hezekiah, unaenda kukufa. Upende usipende, imeshaandikwa, hakuna mambo mengine. Unaenda kukufa. Because he was wicked. Judgment ilishatolewa. The only thing Hezekiah could do was to ask for extra days and plead. Alienda akasema Israeli yote waende back to fasting. Mpaka wanyama wa fasting for forgiveness. Wamuongeleze ninio. Na Mungu akamwonea huruma akamwongezea siku kadhaa. But judgment ilishawekwa. Umeshaandikwa. Same thing with Kenya. This wicked political class, hawa kina Raila, Gachagua, Ruto, all these people. Judgment Mungu ashaandika, the revolution. Tunaidelay. Because we've given these people chances to do the right thing. Ruto aliwadanganya akawaambia ati anaingia hapo anaenda kuchange mambo extrajudicial killings nini akaingia hapa and is doing the same thing nani Uhuru was doing. Uhuru was using Mugiki to kill everyone. Na naiba na familia yake. Kebake doing the same thing. Moi for 24 years. Jomo, what argument are you still going to make with these people? Hakuna argument. Hauna point. Your cute points don't mean anything at this point. Bado mnasikia Raila akizungumza akinasema ati conclave. The man akona handshake kila siku. anawaambia conclave wengine ati conclave ndiye apate handshake nyingine. What's there? IBC mmejaribu, IBC naambia 2027 vile tu Ruto anasema ngojeni 2027. The organization that has been constituted by Ruto and Raila illegally. Bado mnasimama hapo in fact stop complaining. Nisisikie mtu anasema ati hauna job ati Kenya imeharibika. That is nonsense. Usituambie, hatutaki kusikia. Usituambie uko na shida. The solution is one. Revolution. Revolution sio vita. Revolution ni kusema wananchi wameamua kwa wanasiasa wote kutokea rais mpaka huko chini waondoke. Wote. Tunaanza mpya. Reset. Mmeshindwa kufanya kazi yenu, hamwezi kufuata sheria. We are resetting the whole thing. Usituambie. Hatutaki kusikia. Sifuna, Onyonka, sijui Onyonka yule mfala mwingine anatuambianga mambo ya Matiang'i kila siku akienda kwa ninio. Na ile sauti yake ya kaka ya mlevi. Matiang'i, hatutaki kusikia. Babu Owino, Tibi Mtaba, enda kodi yaga wewe. Hujamaliza ninio, ulipiga mtu bunduki, unafaa kwa jela saa hizi, not running for governor. Hatutaki kusikia hiyo governor yako. Jela. Saini revolution ni Kenya. Hiyo ndio solution. Hakuna mambo mengine. No other way. No, hakuna. But the choice is solely on you. And then entertain hizi ninio. Si mnataka ku entertainment. Kama mnataka entertainment, sawa. Pia life ni choice. You live by your choices and you die by it. Ndio maana Yesu alisema you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Mnataka kuishi under this conclave na Ruto na hii upuzi yote hawa watu wa Gachagua na wadanganya nao. Endeleeni. Basi msipigie makelele ati mnasafa. Endeleeni mpigie Matiang'i. Tuone mtafika wapi na hizo ufala hawa watu. Cause mnaambiwa mnadanganywa na you're playing into this circus ya wao, circus ya hawa wajinga. Even if Ruto drops dead now, na mweke Matiang'i hapo, you'll find the very same things Ruto is doing itaendeleshwa Kenya. So acha kutuambia one time na hizi sijui nini, my cousins na hiyo puzi yote mnatuambia. Ruto situambia unataka two term ya nini? You cannot do, hata uwezi kuzidinio 2 years hakuna kitu umefanya. Na usijifanya na hii mambo ya Harambee Stars unapatia watu milioni. Hiyo milioni go revitalize Rivertex. Revitalize hizo ma industries ambayo tume lose. Watu wapate kazi. Saini revolution. Hiyo ndio kitu imebaki. No way, hakuna. Situambia ati mwanasiasa yote anakuja anatuambia ati 2027 naenda kusimamia sijui nini, apigwe na mawe. Figuratively speaking. Kuja hapa nasema na nio. The point I'm making is this. You cannot be falling for the same okidok. Wanakuja na conclave intergenerational nonsense. Wanakuja na sijui one term, ukimuuliza okay one term, what's after that? What are you standing for? Tukiangalia resume yako, wewe umekuwa ukiua watu, unaiba na kadhalika na uko na ukabila. What's beyond one term? My cousins who? What's beyond that? Matiang'i wewe, what is your resume? Shinkorokoro. Unaua watu Yala River. Ati umefanya World Bank. I even doubt you work for World Bank wewe, Matiang'i wewe. You are a con man, another con man. Wamalwa, wewe what do we know you for? Ndugu yako ndio tumejua he had good English. Wewe hakuna kitu umeaccomplish. Kalonzo, Watermelon, we know you. Karua, unafikiri tulisahau 2007? You are the one who caused it. Na uko na mkabila sana and you are corrupt. What are you to offer Kenyans? Si nilikuwa na Azimio hapa huyu Conman. Sasa ndio unajifanya ati hujui Conman na sasa. Unatuambia ulichukua kipao 1969. Umbwa. All these people are, you know, fakers. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, and comrades, I'll stop it here. Where can you like, subscribe, share, like, comment? Na mkae mstari wa mbele. Consider what I said. Because hii mchezo wa town, it's getting out of hand. Okay? Sawa. Tuonane maybe in the evening or tomorrow. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Put the notification button on so next time I come in, nakuja hapa. Wale watu kwa X, who are looking at me on X, hebu kujeni hapa YouTube, type Kenya Revolutionary. Utanipata hapo na mulike na share in your spaces na subscribe. Okay? And put your notification on so when I come in, you can always find me. My name is Kenya Revolutionary. I'm out. Peace and blessing. I was shout out to Annie, Omuganda, Rita Zamit, Laban Misiani, na watu wote ambao walikuwa hapo ambao wamechat na wakiongea na mimi. Peace and blessing. Nitaongea na nyinyi baadaye. I'm out. Peace.